Hi there, I'm Daniela. Welcome to a space created for women struggling with their breast implants or have already said goodbye to them, just like we did.
And I'm Michelle. We're so glad you're here. Together, we're supporting a community of courageous women redefining beauty and confidence.
The Breast Implant Breakout Podcast
Starts now. Hello. Welcome back to the Breast Implant Breakup Podcast, a space dedicated for women who are struggling with their breast implants or who have already removed them, just like we did. My name is Michelle.
And I'm Daniela, and today's episode is going to be so good. We're going to talk about the recovery, the mental recovery, and the physical recovery. Whether it's going back to the gym or going back to work or interacting with your children, because it's a very hard thing to do.
Exactly. Or going back to your sense of sensuality and beauty and confidence. I like the fact that you started saying today we're going to talk about the recovery, the mental, because we really don't talk about the importance of also giving enough space and patience and care and tenderness to those parts of our mental well-being that are also kind of wounded through the experience of breaking up with your breast implants. And I am so excited that we're going to talk about that because I think that that's a prime element. There are very few people who do talk a lot about the reasons why they remove their breast implants from a physical perspective, meaning they talk about the symptoms of breast implant illness. They still don't talk about the importance of recovering mentally and emotionally after you go the explantation surgery. So I'm excited for this episode. And you, Danny, you went through this experience very recently. How long has it been now? Like
tomorrow is going to be 10 weeks.
10 weeks already, yes. And it's still so fresh. How are you doing? How are you feeling physically after 10 weeks of removing your breast implants? Are you back to your regular routine or not quite?
I'm going to say that to me, I think because the workout, the physical side of it is as important as the mental one.
Absolutely.
Because they are together. So if I go and do my workout mentally, I'm in a good place, I'm happy, all these things. So that was a very hard thing for me to do, not being able to go to my workout for I will say maybe 6 weeks. That's
a long time for someone that loves working out, that teaches it even.
Yes,
it's part of your lifestyle.
I'm
really.
very active. I love what I do when I'm teaching high fitness. It just makes my whole day.
Yeah.
So when I was told you're not going to be able to work out for maybe 4 or 6 or 8 weeks, I was like, oh my gosh. I actually felt sad. I mean, not sad. I feel
depressed.
Guilty.
Oh,
because most people will say, and I say this too, it was hard not being able to lift my babies, hold my kids, give them the love, being careful with the drains, and then post surgery when they remove the drains, all the things that you have to be careful with your body. But in my head, I'm like, am I a bad mom? Because I actually miss high fitness more than being able to lift them. I mean, I don't want to say more the same way.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. High fitness has a mental component for you, right? It's almost therapeutic. And I think for a lot of people watching who love to work out, also identify with the thought that your mental health is also dependent on your physical health and your routines and your exercise, right? So I understand why you would be looking forward to that more than just picking up your children, because you're still loving them even though you can't pick them up.
I think this is like my other baby. That's how I see it. It's like a baby to me. Like I love it so much.
That's a good way to put it.
So I was gentle with my body at the same way I was gentle with my emotions, So and this is something that a lot of women need to know and understand. You will feel good within a few days after the surgery. You start experiencing these good things. Doesn't matter if it's like psychologically or whatever, you actually feel better physically because you removed the implants. But even though you feel better, you have to be so careful in going back to your routine because you are healing inside. So from the outside, you say, I feel great, but then you're healing inside. And that's why I was so careful. And I took actually 6 weeks off my workouts, even though my doctors say you can start incorporating these very slowly.
Little by little.
I was like, let me just wait a little bit more, just in case. There's so many risks. You can have a hematome if you work out. If your heart rate is too high, that's a risk. You can have a blood clot, all these things.
So
you,
mild workout would be okay, even
Like
like a few days
walking.
after. Yeah, like
Yeah.
walking. I don't know, maybe riding a bike, or maybe is that too much?
well, you have to be careful you don't fall.
Well, yeah.
So I will say walking, it's a good way to
safest.
start and safe,
Okay.
because it's actually good to start moving your body for circulation and all these things.
Absolutely.
But like lifting weight, I will say be very, very careful, you know.
The best is always to consult with your doctor. Obviously, they're going to know what's going to be best for your body depending on your situation. It might be that you're ready to start again your workout routine sooner than other women. So,
And yet doctors have different opinions, because I saw online many doctors saying that you need to wait up to 8 weeks or 12 weeks to work out. When my doctor, and I love him, he's amazing, he said after 6 weeks you can start doing it. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. So again, going back to intuition, I listened to my body, and I was just going very slow. And
Okay,
even so technically this in 2 days, 10
It's
weeks
gonna be
after,
10 weeks.
that's when I'm going to start doing my workout all in.
and you're teaching it even.
And I'm teaching it. Yes.
Yeah. And that's very important to realize also that you are doing a really high
Intensity workout.
intensity, exactly. High ratio, I was going to say. High intensity workouts. And that's why you had to wait so long. But if it's just people like me who don't do that kind of workout, I do very simple things at home. I think I could have been back to doing my routine a lot sooner than
Yeah, it's
what your
just when your
surgeon
workout is
said.
high intensity that your heart rate is just going way too high. That's when you need to be a little bit careful.
Let's talk a little bit about the numbness that we experience in those areas, especially where we have, you know, our scars and where the drains were, if they were really, you know, not the same incision that they used for the removal of the implants. Do you experience a lot of numbness after your breast implants were removed, or even
before.
like when they put them in?
Yes.
Yeah, same. And it
Even-
got worse actually when they removed them, because I feel like they went back to those same nerves that have been cut. And I feel like I still don't have a lot of sensation on the side of my, like on my, you know, side of my arm or my back, it would be, I guess, like by my armpit.
And how
I feel like it'll never come back. It's just a weird numbness on
and
the
how
side.
interesting what we women are willing to do just to look different.
I know.
That we are killing those nerves. We
I
lose
know.
sensitivity, and I knew this before. I got the 2 first surgeries through my nipples, and I knew that I was gonna lose sensitivity, and I was like, I don't care. And I did, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, why would I do
Crazy.
that?
It's
And,
okay. We were told that was very important, and we followed you know,
Yeah.
things as they were shown to us, and the pressures that we felt back then. So
I don't.
we
I
need to be
feel-
gentle with ourselves, even
Yeah.
looking back and thinking why we got the implants. Like, it's okay. It's a decision we took back then based on the
It is
information
what it
we
is,
had back
yeah.
then. Now that we know better, we can do better,
Yeah.
like Oprah says.
I do feel numb a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But it's been just barely 10 weeks, so I actually am not very worried about that. I think it's just totally normal. If it comes back, awesome, and if it doesn't, you know,
Oh, well, that
it-
was part of the
it
things
is
we lost.
part of the journey.
Yeah. I think it's very important to learn to let go of all these things with love and appreciation, right? Like, let's bring into our recovery process the fact that we are letting go with love, not with hate, not with resentment or regret. Like, let's just embrace this new body that we have with appreciation for the one we had before, and still appreciation for this one that is taking us around,
Yeah.
allowing us to do things and contribute to our families, our communities.
And even
that's what
I
matters.
think it's so important too to say, while you are not able to do the things you love after the surgery, maybe you love your job, maybe you, I don't know, whatever that is, what are the options while you can get, you know, there and be all in like I did? So I don't know how it worked for you. I will say for me, I mean, I'm not the type of person that likes just to sit on a bed and watch TV. You know, I like to be very active. I think our bodies are meant to be moved. Like, we need to move our bodies.
Absolutely.
So, but that's when I had to do a lot of mentally work, because I was
because you couldn't do a lot of physical one.
Yeah, because when you work out, and this is for me, my experience, you know, you feel happy. You just get, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, naturally, you're getting a kick of
endorphins and all these
endorphins
things,
and
yeah.
dopamine.
So
yeah.
you feel happy. So I was like, what am I gonna do now that I'm just here resting and I cannot even even something as small as driving. You have to be careful before you go into
And
driving again. You know,
Yeah.
not because you're not a good driver, but maybe because you have to be careful with the other drivers.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what am I gonna do? So I actually start maybe what was it that I did? Reading
Oh.
and did things that
Picked
I just
up a book.
pick up the book and I did things that I usually, I mean, I was like sleeping until maybe 7 or 8 in the morning, which is not usual for me. I like to get up early in the morning. I'm an early bird and I like to be awake by 5:30. So I will be
Wow,
like
dang.
this, looking at the ceiling like, what am I gonna do? Maybe meditation or I don't know.
Journaling, meditation, gentle movements, a little gentle yoga, maybe a walk around the block. Yeah, there's definitely things that we can do to accelerate the healing, the physical healing process, but also the mental, because it's so important. And I was thinking that a way to approach the healing process that both helps you physically and mentally is to treat yourself as if you're your own child and pretend maybe that you are your sick child. How would you treat a daughter or a son that is sick? As a mom, I'm sure that you would bring all the compassion, all the love, all the care, all the, tenderness and gentleness within you to make that child feel supported and loved and to help them heal quicker, right? So we need to become, in some point, in some aspects, our own mothers and nurture ourselves back to health, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, that's true. And I was just trying to remember, what else did the doctors say I cannot do? And one of the things that I was just
Can't dance.
fascinated about it was, well, he actually said, you
Can't
cannot-
rollerblade.
You can vacuum. You cannot vacuum for 2 weeks. And
yeah,
I'm like,
that makes sense.
why vacuum? And then I was like, it's actually really hard on your arm if you think about it.
Yeah.
In one side,
Yeah, you're
I
stretching
was,
out those areas that are like so sensitive and numb. Like
in
I was
one
saying.
side, I was like, I'm okay. I cannot clean the house, so I'm like,
Oops.
everybody help. And at some point, my husband said, "You cannot use anymore. That you just got surgery."
No more excuses.
Even after 10 weeks, I'm like, I just got surgery. Like, no, don't use it anymore.
Hey, if you need a little more time and more support, ask for it.
Yeah. Hey, cooking.
Cooking.
That's something that I started doing. I mean,
Just
I
recently?
cook, I feed my people, but I was more into
But that chopping was a little too much.
No, but I was very into trying new recipes and things because I was like, okay, I have a lot of time now that I'm recovering, and I got into cooking.
Yeah.
So that was something that you can do.
See, that's what happens when you venture the unknown, is that you find other aspects of yourself that were unknown to you before. Speaking of cooking, it's also important that we nourish our bodies with good foods, right, as we're healing. Again, the analogy of thinking of yourself as your child who is sick, use it to know what foods are going to help with decreasing inflammation and boosting your immune system. So nurture yourself physically with patience, with love, with good foods, healthy foods, and also mentally be gentle. I think it's very important that we remind ourselves that we all have an internal dialogue, right? It's our own voice in our heads. So be especially aware of what you're telling yourself while you're going through this healing process, because again, we want to bring the same gentleness and tenderness and care that we're giving our bodies to our minds as well. It's so important.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just it's quite a journey.
It is a
not gonna lie.
journey.
It's quite a journey, and even when it comes to intimacy, like how do you know when you're ready to
You'll know.
I don't know. I was even very scared
don't
about. You'll know. I'll know. I was very.
You're like, I'm ready.
No, I was. You know what? I was scared.
Yeah.
And also,
That it
I
could hurt you
struggle with
potentially.
my confidence. But this is going to be for another episode.
Yes.
But definitely that's something that you need to work on because mentally it does affect you when it comes to that.
Yeah, I was thinking about this aspect of the healing process of how we feel like we're losing a lot of things when we get rid of the implants, right? But really, if we rethink about how is it that we get to feel confident, and we realize that it's truly an internal experience, right? Like basically everything in life. Love is an internal experience, subjective, that you are experiencing for yourself. Nobody gives you their love. You experience a sense of love. They unblock it for you somehow. And let's think about the implants as doing the same for us. They unblocked our ability to feel confident and sexy, but there are other aspects of who we are, of our either personalities or our body. Like, oh, I can focus on, actually, my legs are pretty sexy. Let's bring those out more often. You know, now that I'm not showing off on the top, maybe I can show off on the bottom, these beautiful legs, or it's my nails, or it's my hair, or it's my personality and my mind, the way I think. You know, how can you redefine what unblocks your ability to feel confident and beautiful?
And isn't it funny that it's true that, for what I have seen, with all due respect, most women, and I put myself on the list, when we have the implants, the main focus is, you know, the breast.
It can be, for
the
sure.
way you dress, the way you make the picture, the way you do the video, all these things. And then now, I remember I have a girl in my class. She came and she's like, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "Boobless, I'm okay." And she say, "I wouldn't even notice that from you before." And she says so nicely, she's like, "Look at your face and look at you." Like, I never noticed, actually.
Oh no, you're the beautiful
your
one.
boobs. Thanks, you too, and you too. But I say that's because in my head, people will just notice, oh, this girl doesn't have the boobs she used to have, the big breast, you know. And she made me realize, oh my gosh. And
I didn't even notice them.
I said, "Do you want me to show you a picture when we were in the class, after the class?"
She didn't even know that you had bigger breasts before?
I mean, I don't know if the word is she didn't notice, but she say, "I wouldn't even think about that."
Yeah.
And she told me, "Look at your legs." And
I was like, gonna say, I mean, people that are noticing our bodies too much to where they would comment on them, are probably not okay people to keep around you. I would say most people are not thinking about your body as much as you are thinking about it. So that's why the obsession with your looks really is something you work on internally, right? On rewriting the script that you're telling yourself inside, because nobody else cares about how you look as much as you do. So let's be gentle, because that's the biggest judge, you know, the biggest critique that we have inside ourselves is our own voices.
Absolutely. But we're glad that we talk about this, because there's so many things that most women don't know, maybe, or they need support with, or they may be wondering, like, oh, and I see this all the time with women that have removed their implants, like, when can I start the workout? When can I do this? How can I know when it's the right time for this or that? So anyway.
Yeah, in summary, we could say that obviously your doctor will give you some guides on, you know, how long to wait until you start doing gentle exercises to high intensity ones. Also, like we always say, follow your intuition. Yeah. And again, treat yourself as if you are your sick child, and be patient and loving and as compassionate as you can be, because all those aspects of your nourishment for your body and your mind are going to be so necessary in this healing process.
Yeah. And don't compare yourself with others people's journey, because you have
a waste of time. Why would you do that?
No, you have to do this on your own pace.
Yes.
And not everyone's pace is the same, you know, so just be gentle. But I'm excited to talk about these other things on the next episode. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the confidence, the intimacy, like all these things. How do you feel again sexy, and what things you can do?
I have some really good ideas, and we're going to share it on the next episode. But for now, our time is up. It's been a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, and obviously for watching all of the options for videos that we have on our YouTube channel, and for following us on Instagram on Breast Implant Breakup.
Yeah, remember to subscribe and give us a thumb up. And put in the comments your experience. Yeah, how has it been for you?
That's right. We definitely want to know about you ladies as well. So please let us know, how has it been the experience to recover after your breast implant removal surgery? We love to hear every comment that you have and see how that is similar to our story or different from our story. Yeah. Well, this is it. Until next time.